Yes, you do.
What is going on, everybody? It is episode 897 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with the guest co-host this week. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. Producer Tate here. I think I might have a keto granola bar in my teeth, so I'll get that rinsed out in a second. But glad to be here. We just got off the morning show. We were talking Ukraine, immigration, that sort of thing. So I'm excited to talk pop culture.
Yeah, I don't know if like Ukraine and immigration. Well, immigration's an interesting topic. Ukraine, not so much. We were talking about Ukraine last night, and I was like, really?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like they're still going at it. I mean, guys, how do they not get bored of fighting?
Seriously,
like
guys,
if I were like Zelensky, I'd be like, geez, this is a drag.
From what I've heard, fighting is the ultimate adrenaline rush. So
yeah, but
or fighting and surviving. Is the ultimate adrenaline.
It's like, oh, okay, go to war, shoot, tank, got it, explosion, get it, yeah.
I mean, I kind of checked out after Ghost to Kiev was proven fake. Then I was like, oh, I can't buy none of this shit. Mm-hmm. Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to... Oh, and Phil is here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Go ahead, Brett.
Yes.
Chomping at the bit.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, no, I was telling Phil before the show, I was like, you know that 3 p.m. like crash that everybody has? It's literally why the 5-hour energy was created. It's like you've got 2 hours left of work. If you work a 9 to 5, you got 2 hours left of work, and you're like... Oh, they were like, hey, Brett, how about you host a show at that time? So right when everything's going downhill, that's when you have to go live and be on your game.
Yeah, you're kind of like an overnight trucker in a way. You're getting people through that last little bit.
I bet you the truckers would take some offense to that.
Oh well,
I made some joke to Olivia when we were driving back to her family's place in Michigan, where because you drive by nothing but truckers. When you're going 8 hours from where we are in Maryland to Michigan, and we were just talking about the truckers. I'm like, there's a good chance you've driven by at least one serial killer in your life because of the amount of people that are killed on the road.
I'm sure that I've driven by multiple serial killers.
It's happened. It's happened.
Oh yeah, it's a thing.
Lots of touring.
Guys, hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Perhaps you found us from the show last night. Remember, Mary is gone through the end of the week, and we do need to get 2 crisis parties each day if you want her to come back. And as I am relentless in telling you, I know for a fact that none of you watching want to be stuck with just me on this show. It would be boring. We'd have to talk about Superman every day. Nobody wants to do that. Only I want to do that. And we do got more Superman to get into today, but Tate is going to be with me through the end of the week. We got one more day here, so subscribe to the channel and share it out with everybody that you know. The more people that you share the content with, the faster channels like this can grow. Also, Mary would probably like it if you subscribe to the channel and help us bump those numbers up. We need to, I think we're at like 370K. We need to get those numbers up, guys. So what are we getting into today? Well, getting cucked is bad enough, but getting cucked by Superman, that's a whole nother thing entirely. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's this story going around about how Lois Lane, well, Rachel Brosnahan's husband, he liked a very specific comment on Instagram, and people are kind of making fun of this dude because of the chemistry that Rachel Brosnahan and David Corenswet had on the set of Superman, and it's like that's got to be the nightmare for every normal person, but actors aren't normal people. He's an actor as well, so they're all weird. We'll get into that. We're also going to talk about the budget-obsessed nature of the internet. And it kind of goes in with Superman as well, which is that in the absence of movies that actually get people excited, all people really have to argue about is the budgets for everything in these movies, what they've made at the box office, what they cost to make, all of that stuff, so we will talk about it. Also, there's good news coming from Hollywood, and that's a rare thing. Jimmy Kimmel might just be fleeing to Italy. Did you guys see this? He obtained his Italian citizenship.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
So we're
self-deportation. It's been talked about.
I mean,
for a while.
that's the goal, right? Self-deportation.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that. Also, I found this video of this woman with absolutely insane standards for men, and I was interested to get your guys' take on it as far as what your expectations, because that's an interesting enough discussion, and I think it's important to have, especially if there's anybody in this chat here that is yet to find themselves a suitable mate and get married. What is right to expect from someone, and have expectations grown to be too high? Also, I'm sorry to say, guys, but I have brought about the end of civilization with this topic, which is that adult pacifiers are now in. Phil loves it.
Oh, no. No. I mean, they've been around. They've been huge in the baby community for at least a few years now.
Huge thing for babies.
Yeah. So they're really into it. But adults, really?
Yeah. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead and get started then. All right, so Superman is about to come out on digital, and one of the biggest discussion points for the entirety of the film was the fantastic chemistry between actress Rachel Brosnahan and actor David Corenswet. They, of course, played Lois Lane and Superman, respectively. But now what's going on is all of these videos are coming out from behind the scenes related to the making of this film that does show off the chemistry between the two actors, which is important if you want two characters that are supposed to be in love to actually seem like they have a connection. The problem is both of these actors, David Corenswet is married and Rachel Brosnahan is married to an actor named Jason Ralph. And people are kind of turning on this guy because he liked a comment that somebody made, and now people are mad at him because they feel like he is turning people on her because weirdos on the internet want these two actors to be in a relationship together. There's nobody worse.
That's called shipping, right?
Yes, there is nobody worse in the world than shippers. It is the worst thing that's probably ever happened to society. So I'll show you the picture that was drawing people's ire at first, which is, it did make me laugh. As a self-described short king, right. I feel for this guy. Here it is. David Corenswet is on the left there, and then her husband is on the right, and as you can see, he's tippy-toeing to try and be as tall, which he lost from the very beginning.
Yeah, never, ever do that.
No,
never do that. If you are like you're standing around taller people, never let them
own it.
Yeah, never let them like do the hunch down. Never let them do that. Never stand on your tippy toes. Just be comfortable in your own skin. Don't ever do that.
It's also funny too because by all means he's an accomplished actor as well. He's, at the very least, he's been in things that I've seen. He was in a show called The Magician. My first introduction to him, he played like the president's drug addicted son on the show Madam Secretary when he was like in his early 20s. And it's funny because for all intents and purposes, he's successful. He's got he works in the industry. If you've heard their name, they're already more successful than most actors who you'll just never hear the name of at all. And they've been married since, I saw two dates. I saw 2016 and 2018. The IMDb listed their marriage as 2016, but everybody else said 2018. They've been dating since 2014.
And this Superman is the Superman that's in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and he's been married to...
Stand Tall. That movie is not exactly awesome if I understand correctly.
He's wrong. The movie was great. But he met his wife at like acting camp when they were teenagers. So they've been together for years and years and years and just had their first kid. And like I said, the problem is the weird shippers who, like that, maybe that's something that we don't have to worry about when discussing politics. Like at the very least, you don't have to worry about weird political shippers. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
What if Kamala and JD dated instead?
So after that picture came out, this was what somebody posted, and it's just a really funny thing to read. Let me see. And the problem is he liked this comment. So it says, I'll put it up on screen for everybody to see here. It's genuinely sad to see your career be tucked out to be remembered as a cuckold because your wife couldn't handle herself with her co-actor. Like, bro, have some self-love and stand up for yourself. Leave her to be with him if she wants at the end of the day. So he's saying, like, you know what? Let her be with him.
So
except for
the husband liked the comment.
So from everything that I've been told, the actor has a sense of humor, and he did so because he's joking around that he's trolling to do so. And now there's some great plausible deniability there, which is like he can like it because fuck you, and
it's called having a good sense of humor.
But the thing is like, so these are the clips that were going around. This was the first one, and I'll read the caption after, but it makes me laugh. This is her making sure to kiss him after the director said cut, which I hope there was what they call him an intimacy coordinator on set, where she goes,
cut, great. Okay.
What was that?
Oh. She gave him, after the director said cut, she added another kiss on top of things.
Whoa.
Cut, great. Okay.
Whoa.
So you're going to have to get into the weeds. And then the comment here is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It says, oh, look, I'm David Corenswet. I'm hot as fuck. I'm Superman. I got beautiful women kissing me after the director yells cut. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then there was
got the sauce.
And then there was this scene, and look, if I'm this dude, you'll listen to it and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh, at first
What if you just go for my
drew on the green lines, but they were blue. But that's actually the strings that are holding them.
Yeah, that get moved later. Yeah.
shoulder first instead?
Here?
No, on the outside. Just don't try to get all the way up. Let me.
It's less romantic.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it.
So, from what I've
Dude.
been told, she's just this is other people saying this, that she has this chemistry with every guy she's ever been in a movie or a show with. She's just really good at her job. But that's great plausible deniability. It's like
That's worse.
She's like, honey, I'm just really good at my job.
Don't worry, I cheat on you with everyone.
That's.
And like Phil said, like if you're short, you don't get on your tippy toes.
No.
It's her husband.
No,
It's like, she's on set at Superman and she comes home and he's like, how was work? She's like, oh, it was awesome.
And he just, and David Cornsweet just had his first kid, and like I said, they've been together since acting, like theater camp when they were teenagers. And now they're older. And then now, of course, because the internet is full of weirdos, people are like attacking him.
Just let anybody on there, huh?
Yeah, they let anybody on there. This person says Rachel Brosnahan's husband being a complete weirdo wasn't on my 2025 predictions, but the internet is nothing if not committed to plot twists, which is true. This person says Rachel Brosnahan's husband, you're gonna be dealt with. Watch your back.
Whoa.
Like. There needs to be a referendum.
Totally normal behavior.
Totally normal behavior. There needs to be some type of referendum on the level of, I guess you'd call it parasocial It's not even a parasocial relationship with them, because it's not like they're inserting themselves in the relationship. They've just become like weird spectators for other people's relationships. That's weird.
Just there's a lot of people that are on the internet that just have no understanding how to deal with like the fact that they're just watching entertainment.
Yeah.
Like they get mad at people that don't date. Like if there's people that ship, like the shippers, I guess they're called. Like when they find out that that it was just acting and they weren't actually banging around on their husband or wife or whatever with their co-star, they get mad at the two that were in the movie because they wanted them to be together. And then it's just people are completely and totally detached from reality because of the internet.
And it got weirder too once like LGBTQ relationships became more commonplace in movies and television, because there would be two dudes who are just friends and everybody like, why aren't they fucking?
Yeah.
Like that's
I bet Scooby
That's his D right now.
I bet Scooby and Shaggy are hooking up.
that's you're not wrong. There are people who say that.
Gosh.
That's not as bad as the Sonic fandom, but I digress.
Oh jeez.
This person says Superman fans are trying to cancel Rachel Brosnahan's husband because he liked a comment and stood on his tippy toes. Yeah, you shouldn't have studied. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If he wasn't an actor, I'd be more liable to believe that he was actually upset. But they're actors. They're weird. Like,
yeah, they're not really human.
They're all
Actors?
weird, and they're
No.
gonna. Like I said, he was in that show that I watched, and he had like a romantic angle in that. Now he wasn't. I don't know if he was in a relationship at the time, but am I trying to believe that he has not since taken roles that involved him doing that sort of thing? Now he's just like going out of his way, like he's like, oh, I'm going to show her, and then he goes to like the writers on his show. He's like, can you like put me in a relationship with someone this season? Like, I need to get back at my wife. And the writers are like, how did we get stuck in the middle of this?
I got a list for you.
But I do think that this is kind of more indicative of the fact that people live their lives increasingly online. People are more enamored with the comings and goings and lives of other people than they are their own lives.
You're supposed to care about the cheaters in your community. That was exciting, like a baseball
Nobody knows
practice
the people in their community,
or their
though.
neighbor. I know. So it's like we're not even getting that drama anymore. We're having to turn to Hollywood for this. I mean, that's really sad. I think America
It was
was better
reality TV that
when
primed us for
infidelity
that.
was close to home. It was better.
If you're sitting there looking out your window with like a telescope or with binoculars,
Yeah.
looking in your neighbor's windows,
That's a
there's
beautiful
far
thing.
more. Yeah, but there's far more chance that you're going to get busted doing that than watching someone on the internet.
well, I mean, look, maybe
And you don't get as close of a view, actually, because people on the internet, they tend to do things like put everything in their life on Instagram. So you have people sitting there looking in the background photos for what's on their shelves and stuff,
just not
doing
the
all the
same.
it's like transvestigators for everybody.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single type of of person.
One person said, "What an idiot! Even if they're having marital problems, why would you set up your wife to be attacked by a bunch of losers on the internet? I'm sure that's not going to make things better." I'm guessing that he didn't think that was what was going to happen when he did that. But if his pride was wounded, another
he
person
probably
said,
didn't
"Men
think,
are such
but it was
strange
stupid."
creatures." Yeah, he probably did not think at all. So weird, another person added, as another fan wondered, what the actual F? They simply are not lonely enough, another person joked. I just, and it's funny because they were both on the show, what was it, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, or I didn't watch it, but apparently it was really good. People really, really liked that show. That was one of the shows that made her really, really famous outside of House of Cards, which she was on. And I just have to wonder, like, you know, if I was an actor, I would probably troll too. Like, if I was an actor and you had to worry about constant scrutiny with everything, depending on your personality, depending on how whimsical of a person you are, you know, people, it's like Trump would talk about how, like, he can move news cycles with a single tweet.
Like Harvey Weinstein's like, oh, I was trolling. Yeah.
I was just kidding.
Yeah,
bro.
I didn't want to be boring.
I just, you know, it had to be weird. And I'm sure that if Mary was here, she'd be pointing out that, you know, kissing somebody that's not your husband is unnatural.
They're all hookers.
Yeah.
That's what Mary would say.
They're all prostitutes.
They're all
Bunch
prostitutes.
of toots. That's what we call them.
And I just think that he probably had, what were we talking about yesterday? People being ugly have to develop a sense of humor. Maybe in Hollywood being a mere 5'8" means you have to develop a sense of humor as well. Though I've been told, so this is something I've been told, I don't remember who it was somebody who was at the studio for IRL. Somebody who had experience in Hollywood in some way, shape, or form said, like, they're all short. And I was like, so everyone but the guys who end up playing superheroes, I guess maybe that skews the fact now because so much of it is like big name entertainment, like superheroes where they have to be bigger.
There might be, it might make sense because the dudes that are bigger and more athletic frequently go into sports.
Yeah.
Smaller guys that are not as athletic will probably go into the theater, drama club, and etc. You know, not saying that all the time, but that does make sense that might be something there, or that might have some amount of effect on it. You know,
not everybody ends up like Alan Ritchson, being just 6'5".
Not everybody's Reacher.
Yes, it's so funny too because for him, he's actually a good actor. Like for the most part, from what, because Blue Mountain State, which is the other thing he's really known for, is vastly different in comedic compared to Reacher. And then like he did Fast and the Furious, and in the Fast, there's like literally zero asked of him. Stand around, look cool,
be jacked,
be jacked, say cool lines.
Make sure that you get to the gym. That's the important part of your acting career.
So
getting
that's
to
what
the gym, eating, not missing meals, and taking your test.
And the worst possible outcome here would be if he got the leg lengthening surgery. Just don't do that. Don't get the 2-inch leg lengthening surgery that they have to do in like Caracas.
And you're just permanently disabled for the rest of your life.
Exactly. All right. Again, cucked by Superman is, you know, if it's going to happen, that's who it's going to happen to. Sorry to say. All right.
But I mean,
no?
Never mind. Well, I mean, I suppose so. But like I said, this Superman I'm not particularly impressed by. And it might be because I was so impressed by Henry Cavill as Superman. You know.
Okay. All right. That's. I mean, that. Speaking of which, we're going to get into that as well too, because we're going to talk about box office stuff. So I'm just going to give you guys some numbers and some data points to start, just to give you a way to ease into this discussion, which is like Thunderbolts was so bad box office wise that it damaged the Avengers brand like whole hog. It contributed to losses for the company. They needed to write it down at Marvel. It was something that had to get a whole section of discussion during the last earnings call with Bob Iger. On top of that, Fantastic Four had another 61% drop week to week and a 60% drop Friday to Friday, and it's already fizzling out. And Superman is falling short of the $600 million mark after 31 days, which is something the Batman did in just 18 days. All of this while Man of Steel back in 2013, the average ticket price for a movie was $8.13, whereas now the average movie ticket is like $11.50, and that's not even including PLE, like PLFs, like premium large format screenings, things like that. And it's Man of Steel, despite being outpaced by Superman at the domestic box office, is still the biggest box office draw for a Superman movie internationally and worldwide totals. And the reason I'm giving you such random pieces of data is because I think what's really come down to it is as more people spend their time online and as more of the discussions are centered around the makings of these movies and the earnings of these movies, it's time for people to admit that it's because people just don't care enough about the actual movies themselves. And I liked Superman. I liked Fantastic Four. I liked Superman a little bit more than I liked Fantastic Four. I did not see Jurassic World this summer, but I did really, really love F1. And all of the discussion I saw around F1, for the most part, had to do with how great the action scenes were. The way that they had to create entirely new camera rigs so that they could film the racing scenes. The most interesting box office fact about the film is that it's now Brad Pitt's biggest movie of all time, which is
Really?
funny.
Wow.
Yeah. He's never done any, he's not really a franchise film guy. He's
Yeah.
not a comic book guy. He's not a franchise film guy.
I mean, I remember F1 was big, but it didn't seem like have that much buzz.
Yeah. And so on top of all of that, why is it that the movies are no longer interesting enough to actually keep people interested? Spider-Man is already getting buzz. There has been set photos for 2 days now, 3 days now, and people are spamming out these pictures of Spider-Man looking cool.
I'm already not interested in the new Spider-Man movie.
I think you might be outside the target demographic for that more, just a little bit.
Generally,
But-
I mean, I'm very pro superhero comic book movie.
Yeah.
Like, so
So what is it about the new Spider-Man that you're disinterested about?
it's probably because there have been so many letdown comic book movies.
Yeah, but have you seen the other ones with Tom Holland?
Yeah, and like I said, I like Tom Holland. I like Coming Home. I like the first Spider-Man movie. I thought he was great with his introduction in Civil War.
I love that.
I thought
that
it was
a great
awesome.
introduction.
Loved it. And I like the relationship between Tony Stark and Spider-Man. I mean,
So do you think it makes it less so now because Tony Stark isn't there?
maybe, especially if what it looks like, where they're moving away from the whole like Spider-Man armor kind of thing. Like, I just feel like Marvel has been such a letdown recently. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not excited to see Marvel movies anymore. And you know, especially the things that I'm hearing about. Like, I want to see Doomsday. But at the same time,
Now they're saying that was all Steve Rogers' fault because he went back in time and so he could end up with Peggy.
could be. I mean, I'm interested in it, but again, if it's Pedro Pascal, I'm like, I don't like the guy as an actor, and I'm not particularly interested in the Fantastic Four either. And I don't want to see the Fantastic Four. I want to see the Avengers, and so it's like, well, do I care about the Fantastic Four as Avengers? I don't know. So
I'll bring it back up because James Gunn, if James Gunn has a flaw, it's that he's too online. He's like, a lot of people would say that it's a good thing to be like responsive to your audience. And I agree to an extent, but it's like he gets baited into questions and it's like, and he feels the need to respond all the time, which in my opinion, at least a little bit kind of destroys the mystique of like what a director is supposed to be. Like tomorrow we're going to talk about how annoying James Cameron is with Avatar because he elevates what he's making to this form of high art when it's just well-made studio slop. But the point is like, I don't feel like he overstays his welcome when he's talking about his movies. But this was something when they were talking about the budget. A person said, people keep saying that the Superman movie needs to make $650 million to break even and to be a success. Is that true, or would you say it's already a success? Huge fan of the movie, by the way. And he says, absolutely false. Anyone saying that doesn't have an understanding of the film business, and we would be idiots to make a first in a franchise that would need to make that much to be profitable. Well, first of all, success and profitable aren't the same thing.
Yeah.
When it's the first in a franchise, it needs to indicate some level of excitement from the audience. Now, you do have outliers. For instance, Batman Begins didn't do nearly as well, of course, as The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises. So, you know, the first in the franchise doesn't have to make $1 billion, but it does have to reset people's expectations and give them something to look forward to. And he's already kind of set himself up for a failure because he's saying now, which came out today, that the first pieces of follow-up information from Superman are going to be coming out in Peacemaker Season 2, which is, of course, rated MA and not supposed to be watched by kids, whereas Superman as a movie was entirely supposed to be watched by kids. And now, I don't know how you spin it when what they're saying is that Superman is already coming out on... I'll put it up here. Superman is already coming out on streaming tomorrow. Like it just came out like a month ago. And they moved this date up. I mean, Phil will remember, but back in the day, movies didn't come out on stream. Not even stream. Movies didn't come out on home video for months.
Years
after. I mean, they would come out on.
If you're talking about video,
Yeah.
like actually like VHS,
Yeah.
like when Blockbuster was a thing, it would be years.
Or at the very least, pay-per-view would take several months before you were able to get it.
It would have to be out of the theaters. Like you
Yes.
couldn't go to a theater and watch it.
Theater windows were longer.
Yeah, exactly. It would, but just like that, like yeah, it would have to be done with the theater run. You can't find it. You're not going to go to the drive-in, which drive-ins got it last.
Yeah.
Right, and you'd have to wait.
Or dollar theaters.
Yeah, dollar theaters. You'd have to wait till that was done. Then it would come out on VHS or on some kind of pay-per-view. But pay-per-view was, it didn't come out until like the 90s and stuff. You were talking about VHS
theater?
in the 80s and 90s.
$1 theater.
Yeah, there were theaters where you could go like see a movie for $2 or $1.
Oh,
Because it'd been out for a while at that point.
that's a great way to spend an afternoon.
So this is what he says. With Superman passing the 500 million mark worldwide, many fans were surprised to see that the film was heading to digital only 35 days after the theatrical debut. According to Gunn, he is also just as surprised and says that the reason Superman is being released Friday isn't because anything to do with potential box office woes. I don't know if I believe that. But everything to do with Peacemaker Season 2. He says, well, it's complicated, but the truth is because of Peacemaker, I originally thought Peacemaker was going to be coming out next month. There was a lot of things that are beyond our control, so that he's literally the head of the studio. Like, I mean, I don't know who's out of, like, are you saying Warner Brothers? Because he's literally the dude in charge of the studio.
Yeah.
He didn't just make the Superman movie. He's the one in charge of the entirety of the studio. So I don't know if I buy that. He goes, I originally thought Peacemaker was going to be coming out next month. There are a lot of things that are beyond our control, so that Peacemaker is coming out now. At the end of the day, I wanted everyone to be able to see Superman that wanted to, even those people who couldn't get to a theater before Peacemaker, and that's really the reason for it. I don't believe him. But this is what it comes down to now. All of the discourse online it's just a way for people to dunk on each other, as sad as that is. It's for, if Superman is failing, and again, Superman had a budget of like $225 million. That was before marketing, which they spent at least $100 million on. So making $551 million isn't going to cut it as far as, it's just not. Like it needed to make more than that. And so it's so Snyder Bros, the fans of the for those of you who are not terminally online, fans of the Zack Snyder vision of DC, it's so that they can dunk on James Gunn, or it's so that for Fantastic Four, it's for people that hate Pedro can hate on MCU shills, or it's so anti-woke people can dunk on regular media shills. Nobody's interested in the actual movies anymore. Nobody's talking about them like they're these great forms of entertainment. They just want their team to do well. They just want the one that they back to do well. I liked both Superman and Fantastic Four to different degrees. I still think that F1 was the best movie out of all of the movies that I saw in July, but I like Superman a lot. And there were people who hated Superman. There were people who hated that I thought Fantastic Four was okay. And they're all using different box office metrics to tell you why your subjective opinion of a movie is wrong, which is silly. Like, I can't even think of a corollary. I guess like it would be like polling data in politics. It's like, oh, well, that sucks. Well, Zoran's leading by 80%, so he's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said with the teams, I mean, you see it now where even the movies that are supposed to be a little more like esoteric and out there, like Wes Anderson movies, even they have like a passionate flag waving fan base where
Wes Anderson. I mean, it's like Nolan. Like Nolan has his own fans.
Yeah, like everyone. It's like it's like squads rolling up to the theater. Like, I'm a Nolan fan. Like, I got a Nolan hat on. And
Hey,
flag.
there's nothing wrong with that. I'm okay.
Yeah,
with that.
it's just interesting.
But
it
it's
doesn't
just,
seem like it wasn't that way prior to like 10 years ago.
I mean, I think that's just because there's less people actually going to the theaters. That's, that information is kind of born out of the fact that tickets are more expensive, but the box offices are falling under or similar to old films. So there's a whole debate right now about whether you should actually use the idea of adjusted for inflation.
Right.
Because some people say that's a cope. But it's not really. Like, it's indicative of what the prices for tickets were at that time, because it just cost less money to go to see a movie back then. So now it's a much bigger value ask. Like, when we go to the theaters, we spend $17 a ticket. So if me and Olivia go to see a movie, we spend at least $35 after tax to buy the actual tickets. And then if you're gonna get food at the theater, which we do, we get I get my drunken fries and beer cheese, and that's we each get one, and that costs $20 itself. So you're spending, and then if somebody wants candy or something to drink, you're coming in on like $100 just to go to see a movie that's over in 2.5 hours. So it's like, I feel like I've actually been like Stockholm syndrome into liking the movies half the time. Maybe I don't even like it. I'm just like, I just spent this much money, I better like it.
Yeah.
But it's also why people get more angry than when a movie isn't good. They're like, I just spent all of this money and this is the bullshit that I'm getting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially, you're not getting out for under 50 if you're going to someone.
No, I mean, but that is a problem with the dollar, not a problem with the movie.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah.
Like, we're still in that shock period after significant inflation.
Yeah,
where
that's a good point.
the money that people are used to spending, or they can remember spending 5 years ago, doesn't go nearly as far as it does now. It's like, or as it used to. It's like, it used to be you could go to, most people remember $5 footlongs. You remember that, and you're a young guy.
Yeah.
That isn't coming back.
No.
And so,
especially if they're getting thrown at DC police.
I know, right? What a waste. But the fact of the matter is, that kind of thing matters. So people are still adjusting to the inflation that we had in the past, right after Biden, or at the end of Biden's term.
I had an article today we were going to cover. I just decided, like, there ended up being too many data points. I was like, I can't do this today.
Yeah.
But it was literally, the article was like, Gen Z can't afford friendship.
Yeah.
It was literally like Gen Z wants to go out. It's just they go into debt every time they go out to the bar with their friends. I was like, first of all, I don't know anybody in Gen Z who's going to bars. But maybe, I guess, if you're in like City Thoroughfare, you're in DC, you're in some metro area, I suppose that's true. But like, you can't afford it.
Yeah, when you open a tab and you're like, hey, had 3-4 drinks, and you say it's like $70. You're like, what is going on?
We did a segment earlier this year that Gen Z had never even heard of bar tabs. They're like, I don't know how to open a bar tab.
See, like, because in America, I feel like our bar conventions change a lot depending on where you are. But like in the UK, specifically England, they have a very particular way of like how they handle the bar or the pub.
How's it different?
Well, the big thing that I was told that Zoomers are like destroying England is because when they go to pubs, they like line up, like they queue for the, instead of, where everyone gets around the bar and they're just trying to get a drink. Instead, people like get in like a nice orderly line. But the older guard in England, this drives them absolutely wild. And I think it's like a mixture of a COVID thing and a Zoomer's just not matriculating. I keep using that word, but it's so funny that's like the bar, even the bar culture is breaking down.
It's like what was I rewatching recently? Like one of the Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan movies. It might have been Patriot Games. Whichever one involved the IRA, and they're at a bar, and like, this movie makes me homesick for the chance to go to Ireland and be at a bar with a bunch of terrorists.
Right. Yeah.
Those were good times in the movies. I'm just saying, guys, that if you're arguing with people online on basis of like a movie, like, that's kind of the same thing as like when I tell you that, like, dunking on like people who have like Apple and Android and they fight about it. You're just a consumerist pig for them. Mm-hmm. You really are. Like, if you like a movie, you should like it because you enjoyed it, not because you hated a guy who made a different movie worse. Like, that just seems really, really stupid to me. But I think that's why everybody's fighting about it, because nobody actually cares about the art anymore, because the art is substandard compared to what it used to be. All right. What would you guys like to see? Oh, I already know. Phil wants to see Cringe first. And I have two today.
Wow.
I have two today.
You're locked and loaded.
Phil's going to hate both of these, I think.
I imagine I will.
We'll do this one first. Okay. Creatine.
Oh, God.
Moo. I'm the protein cow. Moo. Get your protein. Levels protein.
I mean...
Moo. Moo.
Yeah, you got to put the headphones on.
Oh, God.
I'm the protein cow. Levels protein. Get your protein. Moo.
If I was that company that made that protein, I would hire this guy immediately.
I mean, the messaging is true. He's conveying a true message. You should get your protein. But the delivery is a little strange.
Now they need like another one that's like the creatine cowboy.
Yeah.
Who's in the car. Maybe he's on a horse next to him.
Yeah.
We could do that.
That'd be nice.
Oh,
So
that
overall,
guy.
yeah, I think it's a good message. I just think maybe workshop the delivery a little bit.
Have you ever seen the videos where they're like how to make spaghetti and they make it in like the cup holder of the car?
Oh yeah.
What they really need is a jacked woman to be the Trenbolin transgender.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
Okay. So, but have you seen the videos where like they make
yeah.
spaghetti in the cup holder?
Have you seen the guy that'll make like a full dinner in the hotel sink?
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
God, I hate
that
them.
dude who there's a dude who
That
does
guy
it on
needs
the
to go.
plane. That guy needs to go. Like he uses
to
the
go.
bathroom sink of a plane.
Yeah, it's one guy.
To make ramen.
And there's people in the comments there. They thought for long maybe it's like a weird fetish or something. It's like no, I think he's just has a love for making dinner in strange places.
No, he found content that works. And then he's like,
Apparently he's been grinding for years though.
Someone in the set said Ozempic pig, and I corrected them to the Ozempig.
that's perfect. But the point is like, is the idea here that like maybe they're married and he's like, honey, we got this beater. We're sacrificing this car to make content in so that I can throw the freaking protein powder like it's on the roof of the car.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Is this really worth it for what 100,000 likes?
I don't know, man.
Like when you're scraping the protein off your ceiling.
Look, there are people out there that are so desperate for attention, like they'll do anything. Personally, I can't relate, but
it's so he said, in the chat on Rumble it says giving people a camera supercomputer in their pocket has turned into a clout machine. You're right. There used to be these guys who would work the audio-visual stores in New York City, and they would talk about how people would walk by the displays and they would start doing funny things because they could see themselves in the reflection of the cameras. And that's pretty much the truth now. You've been given that power in your pocket, and with great power comes great responsibility.
There is this one thing where it was like people treasured the reflection a little more. Like people would view themselves as like being in a movie. They would look at themselves in the reflection when you're walking past a window. And I think people have lost that a little bit because they know what they look like at all times because of their phone. I think there's something to that. There was it might have been Lindy Man breaking that kind of thing down, but it was like people used to treasure seeing the reflection a bit more. Maybe not treasure, but it was a bigger deal to see your reflection.
I just posted on X because we have to take a screenshot every day on this show, and I hate looking at myself. But I post because we've got a template that's got like an old thumbnail, and it's Fat Brett and Thin Brett, or as I like to call it, Fat Civic instead of Dacivic. It's Fat Civic, and I was showing them back and forth. 20 years ago, nobody would have ever done anything like that. 30 years ago, nobody would have ever done anything. All right, we've got one more cringe here. This one is worse, in my opinion, if you ask me.
Potatoes, small 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 potatoes, potatoes, small 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 potatoes.
Olivia had a tweet last night that said, "Guys, just to let you know, the cringe tomorrow is bad." She warned you, and I did. There was another one of this guy. He's always crying in all the videos. It's very disturbing.
He's clearly having a mental health episode.
Yeah, it's awful.
I got nothing at all good to say about that.
Okay, all right. Well, we're done with the cringe again, guys. We're done with the cringe, so don't punish me. Here we go. Cue to the day. From Gizmo, he says bath in the glory, but I think he means bathe in the glory of my new dynamic duo cats, Peanut and Cashew. Aw.
That's nice. This is good redemption. Okay.
Aw.
That's nice.
They're very happy.
Some bonding.
See, we don't have it in our household. The cats don't get along. They don't. They're not good friends.
You'd think they'd be like, hey, we have a little more in common than we do a different,
I always assumed so, but they don't.
Felines.
Guys, just a heads up. Again, remember, I know you don't want to be stuck with me forever. So if you want to marry back by next Monday, we're going to need to get 2 crisis parties today. We're like halfway to 1 crisis party. So don't be in the comments complaining that it's just Brett today and that there's no Mary if you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is and get Mary back on the show come Monday. That's all I'm saying.
Give us money.
Exactly. All right. Let's move on. So there is some fantastic news. Donald Trump seems to be driving away all the right people. At the very least, lots of people seem to be, who are corporate shills, maybe not losing their jobs, but they're getting pushed off to other areas. Stephen Colbert has done so. Howard Stern isn't coming back after his current contract expires. And now it looks like Jimmy Kimmel might see the writing on the wall, because he is saying that he is considering fleeing the United States of America because things are so bad under Donald Trump. He got his citizenship in Italy, which, nice work if you can get it. Like, if you can afford to do that. Let's look at this clip. He did an interview with his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Silverman, who's never been funny as far as I'm concerned. But let's listen to this.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship and
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
That's amazing.
I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse. It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
That part interested me because I was like, what does that mean? Let's finish it and then we'll go back to that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, every once in a while, I'll Google Trump regrets or MAGA regrets just to see all the people that I'm not happy that they're upset and but it makes me hope that maybe this will bring people together.
So when he says it's worse than Trump would want it to be, what does he mean by that?
I feel like, I don't understand any of that at all. Like, what is so bad that has happened in the past 7-8 months for someone like him?
Yeah.
Like, what has materially changed in his life that is so terrible where he's like, man, I have to leave the country?
My guess is that it's got nothing to do with that and everything to do with immigration and virtue signaling from them, because it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're in Hidden Hills.
And Doge. I think the craziest thing I saw recently was I saw a sign outside a house that said, like, support government workers.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What? I don't know what they're on about, but like you said, they are in a tax bracket that means that you or we don't live in the same world as people who live in that world, right? So I don't know what he means by that. I know that it's a virtue signal and that it's got very little to do with actual reality, and that it wouldn't matter what he did. The joke is always, if he cured cancer, they'd complain about it. Yes, that is ostensibly true. They would. But they would complain about anything related to this. And I do wonder if it's going to change when Trump leaves office, because whoever ends up next in line just won't inspire the same level of anger that's kind of formulated and built over the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, they kind of do this thing. They do sometimes people do it on the right too, like they did with Joe Biden, but with Donald Trump, where they're convinced that there's this sizable chunk of Trump voters that like regrets their vote. Yeah, and it's just never borne out in the data, nor when you meet Trump's. Like, I don't know who they're talking to. They just make it up in their head, because it's like same with Joe Biden voters. Is the reality is 90% of the voters are just kind of like, yeah, I voted for him, I supported him. Like, yeah, it's not that complicated. I'm not gonna be upset about it.
Well, because in their mind, what their intention is to believe that you were duped. You're stupid and you were duped.
Yeah, yeah.
And since I believe that what he's doing is evil, then you were duped into believing that evil was okay, and now you've realized that it's not, which is not in line with reality, because we understand that enforcing policy is not evil, at least not in this context. That's not what this is. Enforcing strict immigration laws is not an evil policy. It's supposed to actually be something that's pro-American citizen, and was something that Democrats believed all the way up through Obama, right? Like he talked about border security. And Bernie Sanders used to talk about how illegal immigration was a Koch brothers conspiracy to bring in foreign workers to drive down wages. And they've gone so far left, they don't understand that. Plus, it wouldn't matter. These people, they are just going to be the opposite of whatever he says anyways, because they've been steadfast in that since the beginning. All of the late night show hosts, outside of even Jimmy Fallon, who we joked about yesterday, has started making like more Trump jokes now because he's getting backlash for having Gutfeld on. He's like back to dunking on Trump a little bit because he has to like find his way back.
Calm down,
to the
I
audience.
hate him. Calm down, I hate not only just hate Trump, I hate half the country.
Yeah.
Because they're not mad at Jimmy Kimmel for having Trump on, because that happened ages and ages and ages ago. They're mad at him for having a conservative on. Which is really, it speaks to the mindset of people on the left and the whatever you want to, I don't know what you call these people. I don't know if they're not liberals, or maybe they're called liberals, but they're not actually liberals. But I guess for lack of a better term, the liberals in the U.S., the left, the Democrats.
They're the leftists. They're the far leftists.
But I don't think that Jimmy Kimmel's audience is actually leftist. I don't think they're actually committed ideological.
So is it
leftists.
just kind of like what people deem as like you can be considered on the right as long as you're anti woke enough?
Kind of.
So like nobody's calling me a conservative, nor should they.
So like I think that like Tim's functional definition of woke, right? I think that's actually really useful. That whole like the they don't, where they don't have an ideology, they don't know anything about critical theory, they don't actually know anything about leftism, the philosophy of leftism or the philosophies on the left. They just know what like their friends say they're supposed to say, and they hear buzzwords and they just regurgitate those. They're not actually leftists. They're just kind of doing what they think is like the right thing and what you're supposed to believe. That's what Jimmy Kimmel's audience is. They don't know anything about Foucault. They don't know anything about Marx. They don't know anything about Herbert Marcuse or Antonio Gramsci or any leftist, actual like leftist philosophers or where any of that philosophy comes from. They just know that this is what they're supposed to think if they're going to be the good people. That's what Jimmy Kimmel's got, and so that's why I have a hard time calling them liberals, even though that's what most conservatives would call them, and
well, I don't
it's
like
functional.
that either because like I still
They're not, because they're illiberal too.
Yeah. Like for me in the space that I'm in, like nobody that works at this company would consider me a conservative by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think I fall into the parameters for that. And a big part of the arguments that people on the right end up getting in is talking about who people grifting as conservatives when they're just not understanding the term, or they don't realize that they don't necessarily fall into that category, but they don't fall into the category of a traditional liberal anymore anyways, because the Overton window has been pushed so far the opposite direction that nobody fits into it because there's such a big gap in the middle.
Someone in the chat said that liberalism is leftist, and then they called me a name, and it's not. You're an idiot. Okay, that it's not. Liberalism is not leftism. They're totally different. If you listen to actual leftists, they hate liberals. Because liberals aren't willing to go as far as they're supposed to. Yeah, liberals get the bullet too. You're a moron. And you're getting that because you insulted me. Like, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Liberals are not leftists. Functionally, the term talks about the left in the United States when you say the liberals, but that's not actually where leftism comes from. And liberals don't, again, like I said earlier, they don't know who Foucault is. They probably don't know who Antonio Gramsci is. They don't know Marx. They're not Maoists. They're not Marxist-Leninists. They're not liberals, and leftists are not the same. So don't call me names.
You also get this thing
when you're wrong.
Yeah. And it's also like with the Fallon thing, I think we're underrating like the resentfulness of his writers.
Yeah.
Because his writers are really driving a lot of these like crappy jokes.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you in that writing room, most of those kids are from Michigan, Tennessee, Georgia, from like from the homeland. And their dad loved that Gutfeld came on. And he called them and he said, "Man, I watched your show. Like, it was so cool that Gutfeld on." And they hated that. They hated that their father approved of a guest that they had on. And they hate that it's eating away at them.
I mean, that's kind of been the blueprint for Hollywood for a very long time, which is like very few of the people are actually from there, like New York City, right? Which is that they travel there from the Midwest or from the South because they dream of a career in working in those industries. And it's actually one of those things, if you ever go down the rabbit hole of like the insane amount of work it takes and luck to make it in that industry. It's like it's such an undertaking, and they develop that resentment because, you know, they go after something big and not everyone's going to get it. Right? There was Jimmy Kimmel had more to actually, you know what? First, I'm going to say Trump had his own comments about this, which I laughed about. He says he made a similar declaration on Truth Social after Colbert's cancellation about Kimmel and Fallon. He says the word is that it's a strong word that Jimmy Kimmel is next to go in the untalented late night sweepstakes, and shortly after Fallon will be gone. So he likes to push the buttons and you know, prod at the late night hosts who used to love this guy back in the day. I mean, maybe not these guys, because, you know, Trump's time in the spotlight started well before they were part of the late night scene. We're talking more Leno and Letterman. But then Jimmy Kimmel actually got into more about this, and it is hilarious to see like Jimmy Kimmel talking politics with Sarah Silverman, which actually just sounds like a certain level of hell that I just hope I'm never actually subjected to. But here we go.
It's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, you know, these things. And, you know, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people from, they go like, oh, you're no fun, I don't want to be around you. And I think that if you had to boil it down to like one thing, that's kind of what it is. It's like, oh, you're no fun, I don't want to be part of your group.
So he was talking about like leftist voices, like making it impossible for people to stay in line over there so that everybody abandons them because they're like, look, this is stupid, this is boring, and everything I do is wrong.
Yeah, and that's you know, that kind of actually speaks to what I was saying. The leftists hate the liberals. The liberals are like, no, see, we have the correct opinions. We're politically correct, which the term politically correct comes from the Soviet Union. Like, it comes from
Is that
communism.
true? I didn't know that.
It's politically correct. That phrase comes from the Soviet Union.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought this one was really funny. It says, it's ironic that Jimmy Kimmel is talking about the possibility of leaving the country and relocating to Italy, where he has citizenship because of the POTUS's policies. Does anybody want to tell him about Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, and her policies? Like, weren't people calling her a fascist not that long ago?
If I understand, I mean, now I may be wrong, but if it's not her, someone else that is popular in Italy is like a descendant of Mussolini, and actually a very, very, you know, has a lot of fascist leanings, and I'm talking about real fascist leanings. You know, I mean, look, man, if he goes to Italy now, Meloni is probably more right-wing than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is just a 90s Democrat. Yeah,
it is crazy how much anybody who watches this show knows that most of the stuff I watch is like old TV shows from the 80s or from the 90s and the early 2000s. And it's so funny to watch old TV shows where so much of today, it just wasn't taboo back then. Like, you watch old cop shows and there's ICE officers and there's nobody talking about them like they're evil because they were stopping terrorists or they were all of these things that were completely normal in the early 2000s, which are now, even the term illegal alien, which would be used now, is politically incorrect. I recommend going back and watching old episodes of the show Third Watch, which was like this, it was the lives of like EMS workers and cops in New York in like from like 99 to 2002. So you got to experience the show before 9/11 and after 9/11, and it's really funny to see how different the world is now as opposed to the way things were back then. So, all right. Let's move on. Let's talk about what expectations people have in relationships. So, as always, the internet is arguing about men and women, which seems to be the greatest way to get traction. If you want to start an argument and really, really build out your ex profile, you should post something about the gender war. Yeah. Well, this woman posts this TikTok, and I don't use the term delusional very often, and perhaps she's not, but she has a list of criteria that she believes is perfectly reasonable for her future husband or boyfriend or whatever, and we'll take a look at this, and I'd like to get your guys' opinion on it. So let's see what she has to say.
Diabolical things I want in a man. Number 1, height. My man's got to be above 6'2". My last 2 boyfriends were 6'3". Both of them. And they were jacked. And they looked really good. How am I supposed to downgrade from that? So, unfortunately, my next man will have to be 6'2" and up. Number 2,
Does she, you think she has like a measuring tape? Like
It's like a gas
is
station.
it just a guess?
Like a gas station where they have the tape up by the door.
Yeah, that's what she does. She's like, we'll go out on a date, and when you go, watch where you hit when you leave the gas station.
Is that I was from what I understand, like that's there so that if somebody steals something, the cops can get a hide
Yes.
on you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
usually-
Exactly why.
I never understood why it was there. I thought it was just there to make me feel bad when I left, but
It's
apparently
for
not.
logging
Yeah.
purposes.
All right.
You can't have a gut. I need you built. I need you fit and going to the gym multiple times a week. I'm sorry, like, I'm just not gonna date a fat guy. If I can be in the gym 5 days a week and be fit and care about how I look, you can do it. Number 3, he cannot have a salary cap. Whatever career he's in, he needs to have multiple streams of income, and we need to be able to make as much money as possible. That's why I will never date a guy who works in like corporate. What is your 100K salary cap gonna do for me? The max you'll ever be able to get to is like what, 150? Yeah, no, we're good. I need you in a career that is going to make us money. I am a lover of luxury. I like expensive things. I like expensive vacations. So will you if you're my man. So we need a career that can support that. Number 4, whenever we travel, he's got to be flying his business. I'm sorry, we're not sitting in economy together. It's just not happening. Again, this is where the lack of salary cap is really going to help. And number 5, he's got to have a really nice watch. I'm not really impressed when I hear somebody has a Rolex anymore because those can be really cheap. I would much prefer if you had an AP or a Patek and maybe multiple of them. The Rolex can be your day watch and it still better be 50K plus.
I think she's trolling. She has to be trolling.
Rage baiting, huh?
It has to be. Yeah.
Just the delivery.
To be honest with you, I think she's going to Dubai.
Oh well, that's.
So she's going to get peed on.
Well, I mean, look, man, the things that she's asking for.
Yeah.
Her Instagram highlights.
She's
look-
literally
yeah.
asking for a give and take here.
Yeah.
She's like, you got to buy me all these things. The dude that's going to be like, well, I have to buy you all these things. He's going to be like, you better do all these things that I like. And maybe Pete is one of them he's going to like. It's totally transactional. And look, if a girl wants that, that's perfectly fine. But she has to understand that there is a give and take. Like, you don't get to be like, I want all these things from you, and then once I get this, I'm gonna go and sit on the couch and just get fat and
To be fair, she made the point out that she said I just laughed because she's like, I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I'm like, yeah, but he's also working, right? So like, yeah, made me laugh. The reason it came up is like I was like, maybe we'll skip it. But then somebody else posted this. I saw Camelot posted it, where this person has this. It's a 15-point bullet point list of like requirements for a relationship. And it was like tall, doing well for himself, fine/handsome, has a car, has a small house, can pay my bills, 6-pack/fit, educated, smart and funny, kind and generous, is employed, does not smoke, does not womanize, does not drink, and romantic.
You're not getting all. You can get a lot of those things, but you're not getting does not womanize.
What's the thing
like a woman can't look like that and then be like, you can't be a womanizer. I'm sorry, sweetheart.
And you also can't find a guy that has the first 3 that isn't womanizing. That's just-
Like, what's the joke? Like, you can have it fast, you can have it cheap. You can have it.
You can have it. You can have quality. You can have speed, and you can have it cheap. But you can only have two of those 3.
Yeah.
And I'm liable to agree with you. I think that a lot of this is rage bait to get people to talk about it. But it made me think about it because look, there's a conversation to be had about standards, and I think that a big part of society today is a lot of, at least as far as the internet goes. Like, if we're in the real world, it's vastly different. But there's a lot of narcissism, and that doesn't make standards bad, but there's also a lack of humility that tells me that you need to also be able to compromise to get what you want. And perhaps that plays I mean, Tim's always talking about the falling birth rates, and he ascribes a lot of these societal issues to, and I'm sure he's right about a great majority of them, but I think a big part of it is like, we've spent a long time telling people that, if I'm being honest, we were telling women, like, you can have everything you want, you're going to be able to have everything, and you're never going to have to compromise. And that's not the society we live in.
She's not looking to be a boss babe CEO.
No.
She's not. That woman there is not. She's looking to be arm candy, and she's looking to be treated like a princess, and she wants someone that's going to spend a boatload of money on her. There are dudes that are going to do that, but there's going to be a give and take, and she's going to get peed on, or, she better do butt stuff or some, other things. Like, she's going to have to do things that he wants. Maybe he doesn't want her to say, maybe she can't talk to other guys. Maybe he doesn't want her to talk in public at all. You have to just sit there and look pretty. I don't know what is what the kind of situation is going to be like, but it's not gonna be like I get to be feminist boss babe and you do all these things for me. That you're not finding that.
There was also a 20 here from Exploding Prinny says, what's her OnlyFans? I don't know.
I imagine if she's asking for those things, she doesn't have an OnlyFans. Because if she had an OnlyFans, she'd be like, I'll go buy my own Rolex, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'll get all these things myself. I don't need no man.
I did also see like comments down the line there that were accurate, but not accurate to the person, which is like, I didn't see any mention of like, what's life with your family like? What are your values and morals? It's like nobody was looking at the woman presenting this video and saying, this is who I go to, expecting her to care about family ties and morals and Jesus.
Yeah.
And things like that.
What are your biggest fears?
The thing is like videos like this are now rampant and play a big role. Maybe Phil's right and she doesn't have an OnlyFans, but this is the type of content that has kind of spiraled out of control as far as people's expectations for what they can get in life. And very little of it is tethered to reality. Like with most of the women that join OnlyFans, they learn after the fact that they're worth about $10 in a pack of bubble gum. You know, the joke is always they're basically the SoundCloud rappers of women.
Yeah.
And I do think that plays like this type of attitude is infecting more and more young people, especially as they stay online more, which is where the majority of people consume their content now, and probably will play a role down the line of why people seem to be unable to settle down or unable to. And it's not like the height thing is relegated to just women who have an OnlyFans page. No, well, height is, 6'6" is something that women talk about all the time, and they don't have to be somebody as vapid as what we just watched, right? There's a reason why they got rid of like the height meter on like the dating apps because women had no understanding of how tall men actually are. Yeah. So they had to like remove it because they were all like saying like, I want somebody who's 6'7". It's like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's like 1 out of 1,000 dudes is over 6'3" or over 6'4" or something.
It's tiny.
Yeah,
and like the average height of an American male is like 5'9".
Yeah.
And I think that this type of content is horrible for the general for kids who are watching this type of stuff and seeing it as something aspirational. And I do think like maybe not on X where you're going to see people dunking on this person, but if you go to TikTok or Instagram, you're going to see a lot of Yas Queen.
Yeah.
To these types of things. How do you change it? Like, how do you get a cultural, like it is funny. Maybe it's because it took a long time for me because like I'm getting married here in less than a month now. And those conversations about like, what are your values? What's your life with your family like? Were very real discussions you had to have from the beginning. But in my early 20s, I don't know if I necessarily if it would have occurred to me to have that discussion. Like maybe it comes up down the line, but I don't know if it would have necessarily come to me in the moment. But it made more sense when I got older because I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like I need to settle down. I want to settle down. I need to find somebody that shares the values that I have and wants to build a life together. But, most people, they're not blessed with that level of foresight. Most of what our culture has done over the last 30 years, especially in entertainment, is push people towards a life of focusing on what you can get now, what you want now, and very little in the way of thinking towards the future.
I think a lot of it is because of like the Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
I think that the Instagram is probably one of the absolute worst social medias for people because, I mean, maybe Snapchat.
Weird because X to me is like...
But that doesn't do this stuff.
Yeah.
X does. Yeah. X will warp your mind like politically.
Yeah.
Right.
You can also like affect it. Like your For You page is for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like what you continuously click on and what you look at and stuff is it's a very responsive algorithm.
Wait, which one? X or?
Oh, I think they are both very responsive, but I don't think. But I think the X really is more a cerebral thing, because you're reading more. You're kind of getting into ideas on X, whereas Instagram is totally about looks, and it's really fake.
Yeah.
And I imagine X has plenty of fake stuff on it. Yes, true. But like Instagram is all filters, all correct lighting, everything that you can do to make the image look perfect. They do photoshopping, all that stuff. So you get real people believing that these pictures they see are real and not retouched, not messed with or whatever, and that really affects young people. The whole like everybody does look like Kim Kardashian now, kind of to some degree. And I was saying that I watched The Boys and I've been watching it. Annie January, the Starlight chick, I guess is, I think, yeah.
Erin Moriarty.
Yeah, Erin Moriarty. When she got the work done, the season that she got it done, it is dramatic.
Like looking you can tell.
Looking at the videos before, and her face doesn't move anymore. Like she lost a bit of acting ability.
A lot of actresses, like once you get all that much work done, you have to my skill set is stoic.
Yeah,
because
seriously.
you have to. There's an actress named Lauren Holly. She's been acting for decades, and she's really great. And then she had all this work done in like the mid 2000s, and suddenly her face didn't move anymore. And it was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, like she looked great before she got the work done, but she had a far more expressive face. And it's like when she's not moving, like if you go to like her Instagram and they're just photos, she does look nice. Yeah. But the acting stuff actually does suffer, and like it's so much that it actually makes the show suffer, in my opinion, because I'm like, I can see the fact that she got work done, I can see the fact that she's less expressive. So it's like now she kind of always looks a little bit like she's on the verge of tears. It's like, well, that's the only thing you can do, And again, she's very, very pretty. I think she looked better beforehand. And I'm not the guy that complains about people that get work done generally. Yeah. Like usually I'm like,
acting is one where they should take it seriously because it literally is going to affect your ability to do your job. Yep. Like now for certain actresses, once they reach, and it's kind of a misnomer now where there's still these discussions that get had about women aging out of Hollywood. It's not true. In my opinion these days, it's not true. Hollywood's going out of their way to write roles for women that are aging. And I suppose, like, depending on the type of content you want to consume, that's a good thing. But Michelle Yeoh is still getting tons of work, and she's in her 60s now. Like, a lot of these actresses are still working despite the fact that they're older now.
I just Googled Erin Moriarty images, and when you see, like, the photos next to each other, it is dramatic.
And then she tried to say, like, she didn't have any work done, and everyone's like, they were doing the J.D. Vance face. Right?
Come on.
Well, I mean, and then there's the whole discussion to be had about whether it's good to even admit it or not. Like that's another thing is like the Kardashians are now going off on this phase of like listing out all of the procedures they've had done, which I'm sure they're not even listing close to all of them. But there's a certain level of pride people are taking in the amount of money they're spending on their appearance these days. And as guys, it's going to be different for us because we're not going to. Have you seen Bill Burr's face though now? Since
it's all tucked up to his ears.
Did he get?
He got like a facelift. But in general, guys are like, you in Hollywood, men grow into their face and women are kind of racing against the clock in a lot of ways, and that's kind of been done to them. They've been kind of the victim of the circumstances of their industry. But for these videos, all the gender war stuff, it's designed to make men and women hate each other, and I kind of hate it. Like, I don't hate her for making content, partially because I think she's just rage baiting, and I think she's doing it because she wants to get clicks on her videos, in which case I think that's bad for society, but I get it. Like, you're trying to get your bag, whatever. But back in the day, men and women would go off into men would go and hang out with the boys, and the girls would go into their knitting circles, their knitting circles, and they would complain about the opposite sex, and that was how you kind of let off steam when you were angry about something involving your boyfriend or your husband, whatever. Now people take to the internet to have those discussions, and it's kind of poisoned everybody because you were not meant to hear the worst thoughts that a person had about your gender. You were supposed to kind of bitch about things with your friends. They bitched about their things with their friends, and it kind of kept the peace, and now that's gone. Yeah It's depressing, actually.
Yeah, you don't hear like you don't hear wives complaining about husbands at a coffee shop anymore because no one's getting married. They're just complaining about their boss. That's not the wrong man to be complaining about. You should be complaining about your husband. You should be talking about how your husband doesn't care about you, not how your boss doesn't care about you. This country sucks.
Your boss is never going to care about you. Your boss is never going to let you down the way your husband could let you down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, real.
All right. If you think that was depressing, guys, you haven't seen anything yet. I do apologize. It's only going to get worse. I don't know what would involve the end times or what would be the ultimate symbol of the end times, but I do believe that the idea of a growing trend of adults using pacifiers might actually be that symbol.
Yeah,
We're
swirling the drain.
Let's watch this video.
World is going on. Adults have started sucking on pacifiers in order to soothe their anxieties. American adults are sucking on pacifiers to get through stress at work, in traffic, when they're having trouble sleeping, or during moments of pure burnout. Psychologists call this the regression phenomenon, which basically is the idea that when life gets overwhelming,
that lady's too old to do this. Like, you made it this far. Like,
people retreat into something that made them feel safe as kids. Online retailers are reporting sales of over 2,000 adult binkies per month, and they range in price from a couple dollars to $70 plus if you want a more luxury pacifier.
You know, it's like, this is your boomer parents, like, you know, if you gave up the pacifier, you'd be able to buy a home. Like, that's why you're buying luxury pacifiers.
Yeah. Doctors and dentists have voiced their concerns with this new trend, saying that pacifiers are not made for adults and it could shift their teeth around. But I think we have bigger problems than that when adults are turning to binkies to relax themselves. As always, I want to hear what
Okay. Is this a sign of the end of days?
Yeah, definitely more convincing than the red heifer.
Yes, if you weren't watching IRL last night, there was a long discussion about the red heifer. Given that I'm not religious, I was out of that one. But this isn't the worst of the videos, sadly. This one's less informative, but more depressing even.
Nobody's gonna know.
It says, if you're listening to this rather than watching, it's somebody says, adult pacifier for my anxiety. I'm glad we wear masks.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. How would they know?
Are you shocked about the hair color?
Not at all.
And the color of the mask?
How would they know? How would
These
they
people
know?
are just unprepared for reality.
Oh my god.
So $10 to $70 to buy one of these. And the first thing that I thought about was, like, if I'm being honest, was like, has society just gotten too complicated for people to survive? And what I mean by that is, I've kind of made this comparison before, and I don't know if people will agree with me, but I think that people in general live in a state of, not everyone, so don't be the person in the comments who's like, oh, don't do that, because I'm not talking about you. But what I'm saying is that we stop teaching our kids basic tasks, and people live in a state of silent panic all the time. So, for instance, if you're driving to work and you don't know how to change a car tire, you may live in a state of silent panic that if you get a flat tire, you won't know what to do to fix it. Mm-hmm. Or if that could even happen if you move to a state with snow and you've never driven in the snow before, you live in a state of silent panic. When something goes wrong with your bank account and you can't actually get a human being on the phone to help solve the problem because technology has been automated in such a way that we don't have access to anybody to help us solve the problems we need solved right away. I'm talking about your finance. Like, literally last week I had something like a charge showed up on my bank account that wasn't mine, and and my account got locked, and it took forever to get a hold of an actual person.
Forever.
To work to get the problem solved. And in the meantime, you've got 10,000 things you have to do. You have bills that need to be paid. And in general, society moves so fast now that people are living in a state of constant fear. And I'm not saying that's everyone. I'm sure most of the people in the chat are like, that's not me. I've got everything figured out. I've got all my shit together. Fine.
That's everyone in every chat.
Yes.
It's never them.
But the point is that's very clearly not indicative of everyone in society. Otherwise, we wouldn't see trends like this. Girl, they were saying they were doing it when they were in traffic. Traffic shouldn't make you anxious. It should make you mad.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't make you fearful or scared. It should make you furious with people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, part of it too is like society now maybe is too good at keeping people alive.
Yeah.
like these people probably just wouldn't have made it 50 years ago. Like I don't know. I don't know what the mechanisms were to ensure people didn't have pacifiers into adulthood, but surely there was something.
Well, shame.
Some sort of filter beyond shame, like something physical. prevent this from
No,
occurring.
no, he may be right. It's like,
but shame for sure.
People always had the ability to rise to the occasion because society wouldn't permit them not to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
had to do it. It's like it is actually
And
true
it shouldn't.
sometimes.
Like society should not allow people to behave like this.
Yeah.
But because we live in a gynocracy,
Right.
like this is the result of it. No one is allowed to be rude or insulting. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. Well, hurting people's feelings is a way that is a non-violent, non-police, non-government way of making sure that people are doing the things they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And one of them is not sucking on a pacifier in public when you're an adult, and not sucking on a pacifier at all when you're an adult.
I think about it as like one of the criticisms that a lot of people have is like in America, your parents are like way too ready to just kick you out at 18.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, and they literally kick you out the door. They're like, figure it out. And I do think there's actually an argument to be made that given the fact that so much now is like the kids are living at home until they're X age, but there's also a big part of the reason that so many people went into debt is because their parents like, you need to get a college degree, get the hell out of the house and go figure it out. And society lied to them saying that the college degree was going to be worth something. And then they're stuck with mountains of debt, and their parents are more interested in buying another Airbnb than actually helping their kids out. But there has to be a middle ground somewhere because, sometimes you do need to be kind of forced to figure things out for yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to evolve completely into who you can actually prove yourself to be. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we're talking about people who are, I'm assuming most of these people aren't living at home. They're out on their own. They've got their job, whatever, but they're worried that they're going to be fired from their job and, not be able to make rent and then suddenly be out on their ass. And so they're sucking on pacifiers to cope with that. And my instinct is to mock. But at the same time, that mocking comes along with a very real question about, like, how did society get to the point that it's at now? And have we just evolved past the ability for kids to find their way in the world without something happening to them?
Yeah, I mean, and something that people don't like to talk about, but it's true, is antisocial behaviors, whether it's stuff like this or at the upper, more high-profile cases like transgenderism, they're more prevalent the lower down the income ladder you go. Yeah. So, like,
I mean, unless you're at, like, the celebrities of kids.
Well, it's counterintuitive. You would expect this to be, like, prevalent among, like, the weird elite. But it's actually not. Like, if you walk around, the Upper East Side, or you walk down Rodeo Drive, you're actually going to see very normal, conventionally attractive people.
You'll hear the outliers like Angelina Jolie and her 3 kids.
Sure. But it's like, it's when you go to a Rust Belt town that's really fallen apart and you see the people that are still there, unfortunately, that's where you're going to see a lot of these types of antisocial behaviors. And it's so counterintuitive because, like, the right has fully embraced kind of populism, which is good to a large degree. But you have to be honest that this is much more prevalent in lower class environments.
You think so?
At 100, yeah. I mean, transgenderism absolutely is. Like, data-wise, you can get the numbers on that. You can have access to that. You do have the high-profile cases in Hollywood of like, oh, well, there's so many transgender kids in Hollywood, but like, this is afflicting the lower class in America at trailer parks, these sorts of things. It's unfortunate, but that's the case, and that's why I think that actually will happen in about 5 to 10 years. Is this hyper woke stuff is going to be seen as like very white trash kind of thing.
What's weird is, like, most people talk about these ideas as they were called luxury beliefs, meaning that they were only something you could afford if you were the rich in society. It's what Hollywood, it's what people deem luxury beliefs for Hollywood, because only ivory tower dorks have the luxury and the time to think about these types of things. And then they got pushed into movies, which oddly, or TV shows, or to influencers and things like that. And then maybe perhaps the idea is that it made its way down to the lower income.
It's the opposite, and people will argue with this, but you have to consider if you're arguing against this point, you're probably a working person. You're probably a hard worker, even if you're at the on the lower end of the income scale. So you're only interacting with other people that are working, generally speaking. But I mean, it's just not borne out. It's like there's a lot of these types of people that have pacifiers that work at like Walmart, or they work at McDonald's, and you see them when you go to these places. Like if you're in a rural area and you go to a McDonald's drive-through window, oftentimes the person that's going to be at the window is incredibly dysgenic with demonstrating, lots of antisocial behaviors. They're probably on a cocktail of, pills and these sorts of things. And it's like, we're not going to address these issues until we be kind of honest that it's actually afflicting communities that we assume are like this, immune from like wokeness. And it's actually kind of the opposite. It's like wokeness actually preys on people that are a bit more helpless the most. And it is what it is. And this is you can see this anecdotally as well. Like, I mean, my dad's side, they come from very low income trailer parks. I won't say which state, but and this type of stuff afflicts them pretty extensively. And then when I lived on the Upper East Side, I rarely saw it.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
We get a 20 here from Aaron Hicks. Says, this is for the boys, Brett, Tate, and Phil. Listening to metal and getting into a mosh pit can be beneficial.
Yes,
that's true.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think you might be right. That's really, really good. Like I guess I always think about these things in the terms of how the content is created around it, which is that it's always been a luxury belief that's been pushed by Hollywood in these industries because it's the type of stories they want to tell because they find it tangentially interesting, and it's different than they think of Middle America as what you think that other people do, which is that they're immune to it, but really it's the opposite.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, maybe at the highest ends of creative fields, you'll see like these freaks. That's for certain. But like, just go to conventionally wealthy areas. Like, go to your Cape Cods. Just go to the nicest high school in your town. Like, right? That's the easiest way to do it. If you live in just a mid-sized city, look at the nicest high school in your city. It's going to be filled with liberals. Yes. They're going to be like conventionally attractive, put together, probably fit to some degree. And then go to like the low income schools. And that's where you're going to see a lot of this insanity. You're going to see kids with tails coming out of their pants and, men painting their nails and like just insanity. And it's like, you can argue with this, but it's just anecdotally and whatever data that does, study like LGBT, these sorts of things. It is actually more prolific at lower ends of the income bracket.
That's interesting, man.
At least among white people. It's a little different with the other races, but certainly among whites that's the case.
All right, let's go. We're gonna go to super chats now. We're gonna hang out again, guys. Looks like we just got the first crisis party. We're gonna have to get two here because
come on.
Plus it's Mary's birthday. You should be wishing Mary a happy birthday so that I can then share it with her later.
What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you guys? All right, let's go back up top here. All right, YouTube is of course being uncooperative, which it always is. Don't know if that happens to you guys. Like when you host IRL, does like YouTube ever end up just like not working for you and crashing? Happens literally every time for me. It's the worst. Here we go. Back up here. There we go. All right, from Shane H. Wilder, he says, "Happy Thrashing Thursday, Brett, Tate, and Phil." It is Thrashing Thursday.
Is it?
Well, it's because
Thursdays are normally
it's a weird week for me, so I'm losing track of the days. Plus, we were all on IRL last night too. So, happy Thrashing Thursday, Brett, Tate, and Phil. The thumbnail makes Tate look like an Italian mobster about to make an offer I can't refuse.
Is this true?
See, this is like what I was talking about last night.
Maybe a Dago mobster?
I saw that.
Is that a Kuth? I don't know.
I saw that the guy who.
It is if you don't point it out.
Yeah.
The guy who threw the sandwich at the cop was like a lawyer or like a government official. Whoa! Hang out! Whoa! Did you see that, Phil?
I heard something like that.
It was like an ex-government official. If you don't know what that is, it's a crisis party. Every $100 we have a crisis party. Yeah. Apparently that guy was a government official, and at some point you guys should go watch the video if you haven't seen it yet, where this guy in like a pink shirt and shorts, or was a pink shirt and shorts, threw like a Subway sandwich, which costs as much as a Bitcoin these days. Subway is expensive as hell. He threw a sub at a law enforcement officer and then ran away, tried to abscond into the night. And all I could think about was, he said the line to the cop, "My city." And I said, that is something that only mobsters and powerful members of a town can say, "Get out of my town." get out of my city. You don't get to wear like a pink shirt and shorts and say the term get out of my city. It's just makes you look bad.
A little too zesty to be doing all that.
Shane H. Wilder also says, a Lifetime original, Short King humiliated by Superman, the Brett Dasovic story. Lol, J.K. Brett. Yeah, well, you know, I'm even shorter than that guy. That's why I called him a short king. I'm even shorter than the guy who's married to Rachel Brosnahan. He was 5'8". I'm 5'7". Greg Duvier says, put a girl on or mocha. No. I will not.
It's very demanding.
At least not today. I will
very
not.
Very pushy, super chatter.
Sometimes they get ideas above their station. Greg Duvier also says Phil cast tonight or anti-communism cast tonight.
There you go.
There we go.
Wait, is there a difference between Phil cast and anti-communism cast?
I mean, I'm always doing as much as I possibly can to make it obvious that communists are a terrible scourge on humanity.
I got a question for you, maybe even for you too, because you've been doing the morning show a lot. Who would be like your dream guest to have on? Like somebody, like if you could get anybody.
I mean, yeah, the obvious picks are Trump, Vance. Tucker. I just love to chat to Tucker. I mean, I know he's catching flack these days, but I love Tucker. I'll always be a Tucker defender.
I don't know, but it would probably be someone that's very aware of like the news. Okay. Like I mean, I hate to say a journalist, but it would probably be someone that's very up on current events, because I think that would work best for Timcast, because Timcast isn't really an interview show. A lot of people kind of somehow get it mixed up in their head that it's an interview show. A lot of the guests
think that they're there to be interviewed, and it's more about the news. I mean, that's
and I would want someone that can actually, contribute to whatever we're talking about. So I don't know off the top of my head. I would probably, I have to think about it. Tucker would be good. But yeah, I would want someone that can actually really bring something to the show, not just like someone for me to interview, because it's not an interview show.
I think it's one of the reasons, like one of the good things for us here, like, because we have you guys on, like a day a week, is like we try to get our topics picked because we're not necessarily tied to the news cycle. If anything, I like it better if the story has evergreen vibes to it, like whether it's actually adult pacifier is going to be kind of new, will be news coded, because it's the type of thing that Fox News will be picking up and be like, oh my god, the kids are out there with pacifiers. Everything's so woke. But like the stuff about like dating standards is evergreen and can be shown anytime, and that clip will always have the possibility of doing well because it's not tied to the news cycle. But that way we can get, like, you guys the stories we're going to talk about a couple hours early and give you a chance to look at them. With IRL, they like walk in at 7:15. They're like, what are we going to talk about tonight? And then everyone's like, crap.
Yeah, it would be cool if we got like a list of, hey, these are the things like a couple hours early.
It would be nice. All right. Brian Bledsoe says, start a poll. Are you a serial killer? I mean, somebody's going to say yes, and the FBI is going to end up here. Not doing that. Cash Patel will knock on our door and be like, look, I can't do anything about Epstein, but the serial killer in your chat I can do something about. Sorry. Potatoes for Seamus says, MBBA, make Brett blonde again. Again, first of all, you spelled my name with one T, so no, that's a bad thing. And second of all, I'm getting married, and I'm not going to get married with blonde hair. Blonde tips, maybe.
Oh.
Frosted tips.
There you go.
Olivia would be very upset if I showed up for the wedding with blonde hair.
You ready to get hitched?
What about fire red hair? Maybe that would be better.
Send a message.
All right. Adam says, I haven't seen Superman and will not, but I would love to see Zack Snyder's Justice League in theater. Wish they finished that storyline. Well, I mean, bro, that movie was like, the Snyder cut of Justice League was like 3 hours long or 4 hours long.
Great.
Like, do you want... Yeah, but you can pause it and, like, go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, in the theaters, you're going to have to be running out of there every hour or two, depending on how much liquid you're drinking. I don't know if you want to do that. Plus, like I have to then not drink anything when I go to a movie if I don't want to have to, like, leave at the most inopportune time. It's the worst.
And they get you because it's, like, only, like, 75 cents more, and you get, like, 2 times as much drink.
No. The theaters, it's super expensive either way.
Yeah, they always get me on the upsell, and then And then
They're
I'm
like, "Are you sure you want that small one? You're gonna have to keep coming back out here to get refills."
yeah, and then you get like a UTI halfway through the movie. I mean, it's brutal.
Halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
It's a long movie, so.
All right. Brian Bledsoe says, Phil, thoughts on Taylor Swift's album announcement on Kelsey's podcast? Yeah, I was going to cover it today, but then I was like, you know what? Boys, we don't have to talk about Taylor Swift.
I mean, I haven't heard the album, but I think it's perfectly fine that she announced it on his podcast. I mean, they are dating. And for all the people that are like, oh, this is an op, like last year, everybody was like, this is an op. Taylor Swift and Kelsey are an op. They'll be broken up by March, blah, 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 blah. Not everything is an op. I know that people want to be overly cynical, so that way they don't have to say, "Oh, they got me." That's like that's the way that people are now. It's like they're terrified
That's what it is.
of someone, of thinking something and being like, "Oh, they got me." They're terrified of being gotten, but you don't have to be cynical about everything.
No, young patriots look alive. If a girl's showing interest in you, she is a fed. Be careful.
Like
it's just a guy.
It's a
fed guy
or
on
it's
the
a
other
transgender, but it's probably a fed that's trying to harvest your blood sample and vaccinate you. That's probably what's going on. If I had to guess, is there a lot of federal agents?
If you live your life like that, you will be miserable.
No,
yes,
just stay gaming. Don't stop playing video games. Just
Tate,
stay away from women. They're all feds.
You're doing a disservice. Stay away from women. We got to up the birth rate. You can't
They're all
up
feds.
You can't up the birth rate if you're staying away from women.
If you're a young patriot and you're
no risk, no reward, gentlemen. No risk, no reward.
Watch out, fellas.
Those who dare win.
If a woman likes you, it's too good to be true. There's something going on.
I was like, didn't you ever get those cold calls, like those scam calls? That's what it is. It's the person. Yeah.
Like a woman approaches you, like, get away from me.
Listen, remember.
Scream in a bar.
The SAS motto is true. Those who dare win.
Not that John Stewart for $50. Thank you. Says for Mary, I guess. Whatever.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right.
I mean, there was a podcast. I've mentioned this before. I think there's a podcast called the X-Files Files. It was done by Kimmel Nanjiani. He's a comedian. He went on to do a Marvel movie. He had on Dean Haglund, who played a character on the X. So he's one of the lone gunmen on the X-Files, and he himself was like a tried and true loved conspiracy theories. This podcast was from back in 2014, back before it would have been so politically charged to say this, but he was on that podcast and he says, "Yeah, I love conspiracy theories. I've been on Alex Jones," and he's talking to like a Hollywood leftists, and nobody cared because the guy's probably like, I don't know who Alex Jones is at that time. But he had a quote that I'll always remember where he said, the only thing a conspiracy theorist gets to tell you if they're right is, I told you so.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
it's true.
And doesn't mean you shouldn't, keep your eyes open, but where we go to the mall.
Be skeptical. That's fine to be skeptical, but don't be so skeptical that you never experience life.
I agree. All right. As for the Taylor Swift thing, I saw there was these other posts that were like, another locked box has appeared on Taylor Swift's website, and I'm like, the amount of lore it must take to be a Taylor Swift fan must be fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
Do you think she ever looks left, looks right, and makes a decision just not because it has an alternate meaning? Mm-hmm.
She's just to send discreet messaging. Yeah, just do stuff with your fingers in public.
Just everyone. No, I'm saying the opposite. Like every once in a while, she makes a choice that's not coded as something else. Like every once in a while, she's like, I'm gonna have steak for dinner, not because I said the letters S, the letter T, the letter E, the letter A, the letter K in an album in a certain order. Like, at some point, you have to just do things without a reason.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wyatt Kaldenberg says, I saw Wyatt Kaldenberg had a super chat last night on IRL. What's up? Says, next week, Primitive War... Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. We will come back to you. I missed one from Pop Culture Junkie. Says, a couple of sources tell me there was a big fight at Warner Brothers about the date of the digital release for Superman. Some objects were thrown.
Oh.
I wonder what was thrown. So are there
Kryptonite?
I wonder if they have replica Oscars from like films of theirs that have won that they keep out there, and somebody just picked one up and threw it at James Gunn.
That'd be kind of cracked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that there's still some fights in offices.
Well, I'm of the opinion that movies got worse when they stopped snorting cocaine.
Right.
When the executives stopped snorting cocaine in the executive suites.
Yeah.
Like when it was no longer like, ugh,
Yeah.
This is what we need to do.
Oh, dude, like the cartoon animators were doing blow and like weed. They're just smoking an absurd amount of weed. Yeah.
Things were better.
Yeah.
All right. Wyatt Kaldenberg says next week Primitive War is coming out. Vietnam War and dinosaur eating people. Someone really wants my boomer butt in the movie house. I am so there. I have not heard of this. This is where Tim would say, but you're the pop culture guy.
Right.
He loves to do that when you haven't heard of literally everything ever. Well, it's usually related to video games, which I play vintage N64 and nothing else. And Tim's like, video games. He's like, you hear about this? I'm like, no. He's like, what?
You haven't heard of fart? What do you mean you haven't heard of barf poop? What do you mean?
All right. Shane H. Wilder says, damn it, Olivia. I know you picked the cringe. It's just supposed to make me cringe, not question the decisions I made to bring me to this point in life. Yeah, sorry.
That video was beyond cringe. That was like devastating.
Yeah.
Like you watch that and you do feel like your soul has been corroded just a little bit.
I mean, the first guy, I'm just like, he's just doing it for clicks. He's like, I'm sacrificing this like Ford Fiesta so that I can get clicks with
that one. I can move past, but the other one was.
How does he make his eyes well up? Does he just like cover himself in Vaseline, like Vicks, till his eyes well up?
There's some sort of ritual. There might be a red heifer involved. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever it is, I don't like it.
I admit that. Look, I'm not the best active listener, and I kind of checked out during the red heifer stuff last night. I felt bad because it seemed to be important to him, but I just, given that, I imagine it would be easier for like you because you do have religious beliefs, and you're like.
Yeah, I was just angry. Yeah.
But for me, I was just like.
I was just mad.
Yeah, I was just like, this
blasphemy
is
against Christ.
Yeah, real.
You should go back to watch IRL last night if you want to know what we're talking about after this episode.
You should.
All right. Dingus Khan of Gongolia says Brett might be the only person who gets this. Of Gongolia. Brett might be the only one who gets this, but Ozempig is the name of the pig that brings the ball to the pitcher's mound for the St. Paul Saints games. I did not know that. I do love the St. Paul Saints, and I just noticed now that you have a St. Paul Saints logo as your avatar here on YouTube, which is pretty interesting.
Ozempig, huh?
They're like a minor league baseball team. So, I mean, if I'm the pitcher, I don't want freaking pig saliva on my hand.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Brian Bledsoe says, just realized dollar movies don't exist anymore.
I've never even heard
There
of
was a dollar movie theater that was still around in Minnesota before I moved out here, but it's possible that it might be gone now, but that was 2021. I mean, it probably lost most of its, when COVID happened, the rent was probably real hard to keep up when they couldn't be open. All right. Pat the Plumber says, Kimmel is lying to his audience. That is all. Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Fine.
I think he's virtue signaling. The Italian citizenship is also just it's both a virtue signal and a flex because they're like, oh, you can't afford to just leave when it gets bad.
Yeah, what's with like wealthy people that by all accounts are all Americans somehow getting like passports to wherever their grandparents.
Well, it was like
from.
It was Tom Hanks got citizenship in Greece during COVID, and then Rosie O'Donnell moved out.
There's a few of them that had done the Ireland one. Because, it's like if you had like a grandparent born there, you can get it. But you got to be pretty wealthy to go through the process. You got to get like lawyers and all that jazz.
All right. Wyatt Kaldenberg says, Disney girl, you have to be this tall. He's referring to the second topic. He says, Disney girl, you have to be this tall to ride her. I think technically you're saying she'd have to be this tall to ride you.
Sure.
But, I don't know what your plumbing's like. So. All right. Adam says Labubu pacifier. No, that's just going too far.
All right, now this is just getting very avant-garde and very disturbing.
Do you did you see the video of the article about the priest blessing the Labubu?
No, that's very sad.
Have you seen the Labubus, Phil?
Oh yeah.
Like there was also a $30,000 Labubu heist in Los Angeles the other day.
Really?
I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah. They stole all the Labubus.
My goodness.
That has to be a truckload of Labubus. Like,
Lord, come quickly.
I mean, you have to unload them quick because those are the type of thing where the value is going to go down in like 10 seconds. All right.
Rightfully. Correctly.
Bookstore Thor says, ditch the binky, man up, and smoke a heater.
Real.
Yeah,
that is real.
Honestly,
Yeah.
You're sucking on a pacifier. You should be smoking Marlboros.
Yep.
There was actually a part in that article that said like maybe a sucker would be more socially acceptable.
It's a win-win because the nicotine will boost your testosterone as well. So
Does it boost your testosterone?
that's what Tucker says.
It's
I thought Tucker was a Zyn. I mean, he used what, Alps?
He was
both.
he was a cig head for years.
Yeah,
and then-
he goes to Zins because the cigarettes will kill you. As much as I loathe to admit it.
If you rip the filter off, that helps. Filters where they get you. That's where
No.
it's all microplastics and
No,
everything.
no, that's.
Are we gonna have a Tim style debate where I'll go to war on removing the filter?
You
and
guys should
carbs?
talk about carbs in versus
Like,
carbs
I
out.
smoked.
Calories in versus calories
I
out.
smoked for I smoked longer than you've been alive.
Yeah,
So
but you had like if you look at East Asia, they had virtually no lung cancer until they introduced filtered cigarettes because they used to just hand roll tobacco and they started importing these cheap Western cigarettes and all of a sudden the lung
I
cancer
don't
shot through the
believe
roof.
that.
Well, you have to take it up with the Chinese.
You would have to produce evidence of that. And also, how can you trust Chinese evidence?
Look,
Never trust
they're
Chinese
ingenuitive
evidence.
little guys over there.
I barely trust Chinese food.
That's real. Yeah, I only trust Panda Express because I know we've added it. It went through our filter.
The Americanization of
It's like,
Chinese
guys,
food.
hey, really? You got to put a fortune cookie in there. Somebody, don't be disrespectful.
Right?
I only eat Panda Express when I'm at the airport.
Yeah, and when I'm at the airport, I do try to like honor the culture, so I do squat down and smoke while I'm eating the Panda Express.
You know, to be honest with you, I eat the Panda Express teriyaki chicken a lot.
Yeah.
And the rice, chicken and rice. I mean, if you're looking for chicken and rice, it's one of the very few places where you can actually get chicken and rice that tastes decent and get it at a fast food kind of place.
They don't try to get all cute with it either.
Nope.
Shane H. Wilder says, adult pacifiers, are they gay and too lazy to S&D?
That's a good theory, honestly.
I mean, if you remember the video that we were showing, the person that was doing the whole, nobody's gonna know audio on their pacifier when they put the mask on, that person is definitely some sort of queer. Yeah. I don't know what type of queer, but I'm sure they identify as queer. This is a political term, not an insulting term, though to some of us that is synonymous.
Right.
All right. Sorenko Productions says, Brett clapping back at the guest for using the term woke right and the guest being oblivious to it was the highlight of yesterday's IRL episode. I didn't do that. Did I?
Did that happen yesterday? It might have been the...
Do you have an issue with people that say woke right? Do you know what woke right is?
I don't know how to define
It doesn't seem like a
woke.
Brett take to have.
Not really.
Like, I haven't thought, like, I used to love James Lindsay and I just haven't thought about James Lindsay in a very long time and I don't really care about that definition. I pushed back yesterday on the dying for Israel stuff.
Right.
Because I was like, look, there's plenty of people here. It's got nothing to do with that. It might have something to do with Israel if you're talking about the ones who are using the term as like a anti-Semitic type of weapon in X discourse. But the fact of the matter is that, a lot of American men have been sent overseas to die based on lies. And that's not something that you can just discount out of hand as anti-Semitism, though, if you're wading into the circles of arguing with people specifically because they're anti-Semitic, you're going to get that. Mm-hmm. But it's not fair to discount, the criticisms people have of the American military-industrial complex, which has caused a lot of grief.
Yeah.
So... But I would have loved. Now I'm picturing me like, actually, you don't know what woke right means, because if somebody had said that term, I would have been like, ugh.
Just turning into a political anthropologist, just suddenly.
Let's have a whole debate on woke right.
The woke right.
That's me. I'm the woke right.
Yeah. I'm awake and I'm on the right politically.
Therefore,
what's the deal with woke right? It's like, what are you sleeping? How do you debate politics? You're asleep.
Adam says, I want to ask Tim, but I'll ask Phil. Thoughts on Mark Hudson suing for the anime Dan?
I have no thoughts because I'm totally ignorant of all of that. I have no idea who Mark Hudson is. I have no idea what the anime Dan is.
Tim would definitely know.
Zero thoughts on that.
All
I'm not an anime guy. The only anime that I've ever watched is like Robotech. So...
Shane H. Wilder says, I already posted a birthday card. What more do you want? Oh, and Subway Sandwich Thrower was internal affairs at the DOJ. He got fired. Wait, he got fired before or like now? Like, that would be interesting. Like, if he, like, that's even worse. Like, that means that he had no control over his, emotions to stop himself from doing something ridiculous that was going to get him fired.
He probably got fired because he was calling the cops like fascists and stuff. So he probably got cleaned out a few months ago. And I don't know. I mean, there is a lot of these forever bureaucrats that just keep their heads down that work in these departments. So
I'm just trying to think of how I can, fight with somebody about the woke right now.
Yeah, right.
Every time I've seen those threads, here's the thing. I actually I have a pretty high tolerance for reading an ungodly amount of pointless threads on X.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones, I get 5 replies in and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. If I don't even like the term woke, I'm definitely not going to get into talking about the term woke right.
Yeah, real.
Because everybody has a different definition of all of these things. All right. MST Barry says, men, attention to family, health, physical and spiritual, career and hobbies. Women, like men, cook, adventurous, and is adventurous in the sack. So men want physical and spiritual well-being with their family, careers and hobbies. Women like men to cook that are adventurous. I'm sorry, reading that was impossible for me.
Okay. It's all right. You're forgiven.
Are you saying that men? I would like to know what you mean by that. That men want family, family and health, physical and spiritual. Or are you saying that? I'm just completely oblivious to how this was phrased. Not that John Stewart says the theater near me still does $5 matinees. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. And like I said, the average movie price, the average ticket of a movie ticket now is $11 something. Obviously more if you're in a city. All right. Shane H. Wilder says, I can officially announce the 900 video is done and ready for next week. I got to do some rotoscoping in the vein of Aha's Take on Me.
Locked and loaded.
Rotoscoping is so time consuming. It's like keyframing. It's so time consuming, and all you get in the end is an image that goes like this. It's so depressing.
Someone said that the foot long is a felony, but if it was a 6-inch, it would have been a misdemeanor.
So it's like those felonies Trump got. They boosted them up to felonies because they were a foot long.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what Trump should have said. He's like, they boosted it up to a felony because it's a foot long. Brian Bledsoe says, random question. Which American actor has a good British accent? British actors tend to do American well, but don't notice the other way around.
Well, first of all, there is not just one British accent, right? There are multiple British accents. And so picking up the nuance of them
but
important.
there's lots of different American accents too. For instance, Hugh Laurie does the most generic American accent you can think of when he plays House, but it's just generically American.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that I can think of is Robert Downey Jr. had to do a British accent for Sherlock Holmes.
I'm thinking of the guy that plays Butcher on, because I'm watching the show now, the guy that plays Butcher on The Boys. Is that a real accent or is that fake?
It's probably a real accent.
Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of is that true? I thought James so James Marsters, I didn't even know this. James Marsters, the guy who plays Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is American apparently. I didn't know that. So that's interesting. There are far more, there is a good chance if you're watching anything American, like a network television show, there is a British guy playing an American in that show. They're almost all, at this point, I just assume, for instance, Henry Cavill playing Superman.
He had a really good Superman. You couldn't really tell that there was an accent on that guy.
The most of them though is that I could think of Johnny. What does it say? Robert Downey Jr. is the first one that I think of as an American that did a British accent. But there's probably a really, really good one that's buried in my brain somewhere that I'll think of tomorrow, and I'll mention it in the middle of the show, and nobody will have any idea what I'm talking about.
Mid-sentence, you just blast out the guy's name.
Yeah, it's going to happen, most likely. All right. Shane H. Wilder says, Sandwich Dude was fired for throwing the sandwich. I mean, I think he should have been fired for his running. It was not the most manly of running. He was kind of shoulders were back. It didn't have good form. And to be fair, like I actually was like, I'm critical of all the cops chasing after him because it started to look like a cartoon. Like
I just wanted to see someone kick his foot and like, the whole cross your kick from behind, kicks it, cross him, then he goes ass over tea kettle.
Ass over tea kettle.
All right.
That'd have been nice. Maybe next time.
Oh yeah, Angelina Jolie did a British accent. Okay, so there's one. Angelina Jolie does like a substandard British accent in Tomb Raider, and Daniel Craig, who's in that movie, does a substandard American accent, even though he's British. They should have just swapped them.
Yeah.
Should have just swapped them. That would
Swap-
have made way more
swap
sense to me.
roles.
Well, maybe not swap roles. I don't know if Daniel Craig would have been a great Lara Croft, but maybe.
You could have pulled it off.
These days, you'd be surprised if he wasn't cast as Lara Croft.
Yeah.
All right. Dingus Khan says, Hugh Laurie surprised me the most. I had no idea Gregory House was British until I saw him on a talk show rapping. The best way that you can catch it in there. Also, the actor who plays Chase in there, he's Australian. He then went on to do a show called Chicago Fire, and he does the funniest, like, American accent. It's not very good, but he has to do that the whole show. But Hugh Laurie, you'll catch it randomly when he'll say, like, he'll use the word bitch and his T's are super soft. Or he says Saint Sebastian, which is how no American says Sebastian ever. But in general, his accent is very, very good. MST Perry says, the opposite of how you first read it. Look for men who are dedicated to those things: family, faith, healthy job, hobby. Health, job, hobby. Okay. Yeah, you should, if you're, looking for somebody that's tied to family, strong family connections, if they have that. I understand that not everybody has the luxury or the privilege to have close relationships with their family, not always of their own volition. So much of what we see today, like every woman on TikTok's ready to go no contact with their family. Like they're like, I don't know if you should like, start an OnlyFans. Like no contact, fuck my parents. Like no, like not everybody, has lost connection with their family because of things like that. Some people, they don't have any family, but if they do, strong connections to their parents, if they're alive, or their brothers and their sisters, or even extended family, is a green flag and can be part of the road to putting down roots yourself. And, shared values and what you want from the world are things you have to have real discussions about. And I feel like most of the time today, everyone's like, Like they don't actually push those as something to go for. You don't hear a lot of discussion from people. It's mostly about superficial things. So all of those things matter.
They do.
All right. 20 from DC. Sorry, I thought it said DC and C. Dominic DJ, but it looks like demonic. It looks like Dominic
Demonic.
DJ. Like I was almost like demonic. I dislike communism. Have some money. Thank you, Dominic.
I love that.
I like that.
That's
the
one
ultimate,
of my favorite comments ever.
Yeah, that's the ultimate way to strike back at communism is capitalism.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right, let's move on here. Thank you for that. Serenko Productions says, it was towards the end of the show before Super Chats when the guest was complaining about the anti-Semitic woke right. You probably forgot. I mean, that is true. Like, I don't even remember what I said on this show yesterday. So I'm just blabbing. Like, I don't even remember. But if I said something cool, sweet. Thanks. I feel so smart now. Shane H. Wilder says, latest Vegas Pro has an effect that does most of the rotoscoping for me. It takes a ton of processing power. It can also do a lot of motion tracking. Hey!
Whoa!
Hey!
Whoa!
Stand on business. Yeah.
All right.
All right. There we go, boys. All right. That's good that it can take care of most of that stuff. Unfortunately, that means like it's not an AI powered tool. Hold, please. 3 seconds. But like so many, I've been reading so many articles about, we never cover it on the show because just nobody cares about it because nobody's going to lose any sleep over like people in Hollywood losing their jobs. But I was watching the original Transformers last night, the 2007 Transformers, not the TV show or the comics. And the CGI still holds up today. That first fight scene between Bumblebee and was it Barricade at like it's like a smokestack or some type of like nuclear facility. It's fantastic. The explosions look ridiculously real, and all of it looks great. And then you watch the end of the movie and you look at the 9,000 people it took to make that movie, and it kept a lot of people employed. I reposted it on my, not that fight specifically, but I reposted the first scene after Bumblebee fights Barricade, and then Optimus and the rest of the Autobots crash land on Earth, and they all come in slow motion as their cars up to Sam and Michaela, and the music is just swelling. And it's just Michael Bay awesomeness. That was the last time I felt really American. It really was.
Yeah.
Last time you felt really American.
It was. I mean, like America peaked when Michael Bay was basically making military propaganda.
Yeah, we do need some of that.
Things were bad. Like my favorite part is like all the scenes are like it's just guys talking at screens.
Yeah.
And there's this one part, and I'll never forget it because it sticks in my brain, where one of these, he's like a military general, and he's talking to like and they're trying to patch into this aircraft and tell it to fly, to basically land because you're in restricted airspace. And he says, "Land or we'll kill you." I'm like, I feel like they wouldn't say "we'll kill you." He'd say like, "You will be terminated," or something more clinical, right?
You'd think.
I mean, like, yeah, that's how Top Gun, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's military propaganda." I'm like, yeah,
it was
that's why it's awesome.
I mean, I talk about that on here all the time. Life was better when every television show was neoliberal military propaganda about the war in Iraq.
And the military is all like the war in Iraq. The military, like all that aesthetic was awesome. It's just like the decision stuff. But like, I'm not anti. The military is awesome. Like tanks and airplanes. Like, yeah.
My favorite stuff was going on when every cop show was somebody getting a FISA warrant to like go to break against your civil rights. Like, I wanted those shows because in the show they were always a bad guy, so it was the ends justify the means. It wasn't a good thing, but you're like, yeah, but they're doing what they have to stop terrorists.
Well, yeah, and like they're violating your rights now with like a high vis vest on.
Don't you know what a dirty bomb is and how damaging that would be?
Like getting your rights violated with the high vis vest on just sucks. But like if chips were violating your rights, you'd be like, it's not so bad, you know?
I mean, it's sunny out. It's in California.
Yeah.
You know.
I love this shit.
All right, I'll spread them.
All right. Okay. All right. Adam says, saying bag tells us which part of the U.S. you're from. Yeah, because I say bag. Because I'm from the Midwest.
Bag.
Bag.
I just have a general American accent.
It's like when Olivia makes fun of me because I say figure, which it's figure it out.
Oh.
But she says figure. I'm like, nobody says the U that hard in figure.
Figure.
I
kind of say figure.
Figure. Well, Phil is masking his Boston Brahmin accent from his very waspy upbringing.
I don't have a Boston accent because I come from the other side of the state. I'm very far away from Boston. I'm about as far away from Boston as you can get and still be in Massachusetts.
The country bumpkin accent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a funnier accent debate to have is the American actors from regions that had to get rid of it. So Matt Bomer, who played Neil on White Collar, he went on he did like The Last Tycoon. He was in Chuck. He's from Texas, and like he would joke about how it took him 20 years to get rid of his Texas accent when he would have to audition for movies and television shows. Jeffrey Donovan, who played Michael Weston in Burn Notice, he also played Glasses in Sicario. The dude who murks the dudes at the border crossing. That guy's awesome. He has a really thick Boston accent, and he would have to work very hard to get rid of his Boston accent. So it's not always British people having to fake American accents. It's Americans having to fake American accents.
Go figure.
All right. Got a couple more here. Greg Duvier says he should have been fired for a pink shirt. Was it pink shorts or a pink shirt?
I think it was a pink shirt.
Okay. It was a pink shirt and like way too short.
Look, I am guilty of wearing shorts that are too short for, or in some people's opinions, they're too short.
I've been known to rock a 5 inch, but I would never dare pair it with a pink shirt.
Look,
that sends a message.
Wearing 5 inches at your height is also different than me wearing 5 inches.
Sure.
Right? Like,
But
I'm 5'6".
Either way, short shorts are tasteful, but if it's paired with a pink shirt, you're sending a message.
Also, short shorts are only tasteful if you have quads. Like, if you don't work out, if you have, like, chicken legs, don't wear short shorts.
It's one of those topics that sparks heavy debate, like pit bulls, whether men should be wearing short shorts or not.
Right. Again, it's all about pairing. If you're in a pink shirt, just probably don't wear shorts at all, and honestly get a new shirt at this point.
Yeah.
Skateman 2010 says, "Happy birthday, Mary. I remember I found this show because of her. Only one at the time to say Marvel sucks back when it was unpopular to say so." I mean, this show.
What was that?
This show came out.
I can't even make a noise that high.
This show came out post Endgame, so that's not possible. Because plenty of people have been saying Marvel sucks since Endgame ended. Now, if you're saying that she said Marvel has sucked the whole time, then yes, she probably was the first person to say that Marvel has always sucked. But saying Marvel sucks post the release of Endgame is not a controversial opinion. But if it was her saying all Marvel sucks, then
remember there is something to, well, not something to say, but when you deal with people that are like very cynical, and Mary's very cynical, like perma bears. Like, they're always going to be talking about the bad thing. So, you can only put so much credit in that.
It says it was around the time of Black Panther 2. Yeah, to be fair, I was probably like, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Like me with literally every movie, I'm like, yeah, I got my popcorn, I got my chips. It was fine.
I had snacks, and it was entertaining.
I
paid attention.
I actually do have this theory that like the movies outside of The Crow 2, which was one of the worst, or The Crow reboot, which is one of the worst movies that I've ever seen. Every time I've ever gone to see a movie and not liked it, I can almost guarantee it was probably because I was just tired and in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like Wonka, and I think back on it now, I'm like, what did I hate about it? It was fun. Like, in general, I like most movies when we go to there have been ones that have been so boring, like one of those last Hercule Poirot movies I fell asleep at. But there's actually no movie hits harder than after that 10-minute nap, like when the movie starts, and then you're
10-minute nap right when the movie starts,
and then you're wide awake for the rest of it. All right, Omega Red Fan says, boys business.
Boys.
Pop Culture Junkie says, rotoscoping. Would choose a root canal instead. Yes, anything like that is awful. Also, having to, like, cut out objects in Photoshop manually, which you don't have to do anymore. Shane H. Wilder, it's not AI, but it does make my life easier since I don't have to go frame by frame. When I did the Podcastress, I was going frame by frame. It sucked. Yeah. Adam says, water fountain or bubbler. Well, we're American, so we say water fountain.
There's a part of the country that says bubbler. I think it's St. Louis.
Really?
Is it St. Louis that says bubbler? Let me look this up. I'm pretty sure. Bubbler, USA map.
Yeah.
Oh, Milwaukee. The Milwaukee area.
They say bubbler?
Yeah, they say bubbler.
Sure they're not just talking about a bong?
And they're saying apparently in Boston, in the Boston area, in Rhode Island, they say bubbler. Is this true? Have you heard this before, Phil?
I mean, I'm familiar with the term bubbler. I would say in the fountain. Yeah. But I am familiar with the term bubbler.
They're claiming people in Boston say. I know Milwaukee is a thing. Milwaukeeites have confirmed this, but.
All right.
Anyway.
All right, somebody in the chat said Brett glitched, but they spelled it with one T, which was the really insulting part there. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel. If you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, it would be very impressive if you were new here and you were not subscribed and you were still watching all the way to the end. So thank you guys so much for that. Remember, Mary will be back on Monday. We do have another show coming up tomorrow. Tate's going to be back. I still got to find us a third co-host, but we'll get it figured out. Phil, where can they find you?
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. You can follow. You can check us out on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. Oh, and YouTube. And don't forget, The Left Lane is for Crime.
Everybody's saying that Wisconsin says bubbler. I'm Wisconsin adjacent. I grew up in Minnesota. I've never heard that term. Or maybe I just dismissed anybody who did say it as like a bad person.
Could be, yeah.
Where can they find you, bud?
Yeah. You can find me on X and Instagram at RealTateBrown. Come give me a follow, and I'll see you guys on IRL in a little bit.
The gauntlet again today? 3...
We're getting after a lot of talking. I'm gonna have a Tim situation with
Voice soon.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
Drink
if you
water.
want to follow
Drink
me,
water.
drink some water. Instagram and X
Out of a bubbler.
at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, guys, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, always noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is another way to help us out. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we'll be back with another episode tomorrow. See you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.